Folks, if you think just because Facebook absolutely squashes any content I come out with about China, that I'm going to stop calling out China, you've probably never seen my videos talking about how the communist Chinese government's tentacles are deep within our politicians, corporations, social media, and Hollywood, among other things. Well, here comes another video about China, but this time my target is Chinese dictator Xi Jinping. Get ready, Winnie the Pooh, coming for you. Hey everybody, thanks for joining me, if you were actually allowed to do so, for another edition of Things That Need to Be Said. For MRC-TV, I'm Nick Kangadis. Now before I go any further, don't forget that you can also check out these videos at MRC-TV's page on Rumble. We are currently suffering through authoritarian world leaders deciding how to use all of us as pawns and useful idiots in their quest for a single global government, or as any bad guy in any spy movie will tell you, world domination. The only difference is that they call it the Davos Agenda 2021, which is put on by the World Economic Forum. You know the WEF, right? They're the same ones who publicly tout putting the globe through, quote-unquote, the Great Reset, or a society built in the images of the elites. Oh, and you're not invited. You have no say in what these parasites, beings who live and feed off the rest of us, decide for the future of all of our lives. That might sound like a conspiracy theory or like someone who missed a cycle of their meds or something, but it's absolutely true. China and their dictator Xi Jinping spoke at Davos on Monday and couldn't be any clearer about the agenda of the powers that be, presumably led by the communists in China. Xi made many points about how China will continue to do what they're already doing and never once spoke about the atrocities carried out by the communist Chinese government. First, let me show you Xi's conclusion to his speech, which is probably his most telling quote of what he said, and a general summation of the totality of his speech.
Ladies and gentlemen, friends, there is only one Earth and one shared future for humanity. As we cope with the current crisis and endeavor to make a better day for everyone, we need to stand united and work together. We have been shown time and again that to beggar thy neighbor, to go it alone, and to slip into arrogant isolation will always fail. Let us all join hands and let multilateralism light our way toward a community with a shared future for mankind.
While he's right that there's only one Earth, he is dead wrong in assuming that there is only one shared future for humanity. Take those words into account, because I'm fluent in bullshit and I can confidently tell you that Xi, talking about there being one shared future for humanity, he's referring to a future that people around the world will absolutely have no say in. When he speaks ill of some nations going it alone, he's talking ill of any country that actually promotes freedom for its people. You know, the countries that have a problem with those that have concentration and re-education camps, right, Xi? Xi is saying down with individualism, that we need to basically share a brain and not deviate from the new normal that his country unleashed on the rest of the globe that they pretend to care so much about. And don't let Comrade Xi fool you. When he says that people should, quote-unquote, join hands and let multilateralism light our way toward a community with a shared future for mankind, what he really means is that you need to accept communism in your heart, because that's the vision they're going to give you whether you like it or not. They like to use big words because they think people are generally stupid and will accept whatever is presented to them. And to a sizable degree, they're right. But there are those that can sift through the debris of the train wreck they like to call their vision for society. Just like fair share was Obama's warm and fuzzy term for socialism, multilateralism is a code word, one of many, for communism. This waste of human space also said the following underneath the heading, "We should stay committed to keeping up with the times instead of rejecting change."
We need to give full play to the role of the World Health Organization in building a global community of health for all. We need to advance reform of the World Trade Organization and the international financial and monetary system in a way that boosts global economic growth and protects the development rights, interests, and opportunities of developing countries. We need to follow a people-centered and fact-based policy orientation in exploring and formulating rules on global digital governance. We need to deliver on the Paris Agreement on climate change and promote green development. We need to give continued priority to development, implement the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development, and make sure that all countries, especially developing ones, share in the fruits of global development.
The 2030 Agenda. Now, where have I heard that before? Oh yeah, the United Nations pushes for the 2030 Agenda, only they preface it by saying the goal of the 2030 Agenda is to transform the world. There's so much communistic jibber-jabber in their agenda that it reads like they're going to put the world through a woke Olympics and see which country can virtue signal the hardest while placing their thumbs on individuality. Everything is global, and you must comply, or else face the wrath of one of the most worthless entities on the planet, the UN itself. Forget our politicians here in the US for a minute. They forget about you, the people, whenever possible, so there's that. Don't think of our leaders as American leaders. Think of them as global leaders. They don't care, and haven't cared for a long time, mind you, about people that don't need them. Why do you think they constantly fight for the little guy, or to combat poverty, or to aid a segment of people that comprises less than 1% of the population? They do it because they know that if they promise just enough to keep those people from basically dying, then they have what they like to refer to as useful idiots for decades to come. Heck, they think so little of you that they'll push their puppet out on national television to sign almost 36 executive orders, one of which ironically puts us back under the Chinese-funded thumb of the WHO, while simultaneously calling for unity.
Unity. United. United in our nation. Unity.
How can you have unity when you isolate yourself and your actions away from the 500 some odd people who were also elected to govern? Oh, and those 500 some odd people also pretend to hate each other publicly while dining together privately. And they can do all that because you're not invited, again, to know the truth. The truth at this point is what they want you to know. Of course, they'll give you crumbs of truth behind their lies, but they're generally lies all the same. The bottom line is that they're going to attempt to do what they want despite any of the people's wishes. And why? Because we've made them feel that they can walk all over us without repercussions. It's not really right versus left anymore. It's sovereign versus global now. They want you to be at each other's throats, and for what? Also, we're distracted while they erode our individual rights and freedoms to achieve some kind of communist global utopia? It's time to say no. Now, folks, I'd really like to get your take on this. Tell me what you think and whether it needed to be said. I read most of the comments and reply to one here and there. Follow me wherever you're not censored. If you like this video, don't forget to share it and give it a thumbs up. Those are the two best ways to let us know you want us to keep these videos coming. Subscribe to our channel and hit that notification bell so that YouTube might actually let you know when MRC-TV comes out with a new video if it hasn't been censored or taken down yet. And don't forget to head to Rumble, where we post our videos as well, and check out more of our work at MRCTV.org. For MRC-TV, I'm Nick Kangadis.